All right, so I'm going to go over the sewing station or the fiber station, okay? There's quite a bit of different things in here. Some things I actually don't go over, but I'll tell you kind of how it goes, all right? So first things first is when you are going to be working with the sewing station, there are bags in here that you may store your stuff in, okay? Make sure that your, everything that you work with, it goes in here. Only thing that doesn't go into these bags, okay, is the sewing needle, which you will need to actually replace back into the bin each time because you're going to sign them out. For the practice, you're going to use one of these, all right? If there are any of them missing, if there's none here, just come up and say, hey, Mrs. Smith, I need one of these, okay? And I'll cut a few more, okay? All right, so for the project, normally I know I don't necessarily have limits on sizes, but for the sewing project, sewing can get really into detail, okay? It could take a long time. So when you're doing a focus project, see if you can kind of just work within this box. If it can fit in here, great. If it's a little bit bigger, I think it might be spending too much time on it and you might want to scale back, okay? Stuffing. This is great if you want to make a 3D plush kind of animal, all right? So when you are making anything like that, what you need to do is you need to make sure you cut out the image that you're doing, okay? Double-sided image. So for example, let's say I was making, let's say this was my pillow, okay? See how they're not the same, right? When you are making something, you want to cut stuff out at the same time, okay? Like this. All right, so when you're doing the scissors, all right, and any kind of scissors, you don't want to cut with the end part here. You actually want to open up your scissors all the way, all right, and cut with this end, okay, in small little snips, okay, so that's that. And then in order to use the stuffing, you would sew, okay, everything on your first side, then you would merge them together, sew them together, and just leave like a little space. Take the stuffing, put them in. You might have to kind of get like maybe a pencil or something to kind of push it in, okay? Don't overstuff. That means that it's so stuffed, okay, that it is bulging, okay? Just kind of nicely stuff it and then finish, sewing together. All right. I also have buttons. I have beads. I don't go over that, but they're pretty much self-explanatory, okay? Sew through a hole, sew down through a hole. These are great for just going through and kind of doing right back. If you are choosing to do the thin needles, okay, because you want to do it that way, it's absolutely fine. Here is the thread for that. If you are choosing the thicker, this is the thread for that. When you are taking thread, okay, you want to measure out from this side to this side, or an arm's length. So that doesn't mean from the tip of my fingers all the way to my other tip of my fingers, okay? It's actually from the tip of your fingers to your shoulder, okay? Yeah. Doesn't look like a lot, but trust me, okay? It's happened many times where people try to do more and just get not, okay? Ribbon here, if you want to use that, you can always sew ribbon onto your projects as well. Okay, or you can just use it as well. When you're doing a sewing project, please don't draw on it. Sew the line, okay, or sew whatever it is. Don't glue anything. It's a sewing project, okay? All right, so down here we have a couple of different bins, and what we have extra fabric, okay, so these are the scraps in here. These are small little scraps that are probably no bigger than your hand, all right? Do me a favor, if it gets really teeny, like for example I can see right now, this doesn't need to be saved, okay? It can get thrown away. In this bin I have solid pieces, okay? Most of them should be already cut down, okay? I'm gonna move this over. All right, most of these are cut down, but when you're cutting out things, so for example, like let's say this, okay? Notice that the person who cut out of this before, because this is pretty much still a solid piece, they didn't cut out of the middle. They cut out of the corner, the closest. So if I wanted to clean this up, I just snip this off, all right? Don't use these big pieces unless you need something really big, okay? Look for the scraps first, okay, before you come into here. But if you have a big, project, you need a lot of that color, it's absolutely fine to cut out this. Underneath, I have other fabric in here, same kind of deal. Cut out what you need, okay, and don't cut out of the middle. If you need yarn, I have plenty of yarn in here, okay? Now, when you're sending out an actual, needle, come way over here, all right? There will be a sign out, okay? Okay, so say right here there'll be a sign that says needle sign. It'll have your name and it'll have what kind of needle you're looking for. All right, so in here I have 3 different kinds of needles, okay? And these are going to actually be labeled. I'm going to label these A, B, and C, okay? A, B, and C are the different widths, all right? So this is your standard thick needle, okay? It is great, it's perfect, it's nice and sharp, okay? If you poke yourself, please don't go running to the nurse. Just wash it off with soap and water, you're absolutely fine, okay? So those are them. They come back every time you are done, all right? B's, okay? So these are a little bit smaller. They will work with the thin thread. They'll also work with actually the thick thread. You just got to get a little bit, you know, careful, okay? Kind of like squeeze it in. But this is a little smaller than that, okay? Great for going through buttons if you want to use the thick thread. Last one, C, okay? These are itty bitties, okay? And you got to just be very careful. This goes with regular thread, okay? So yeah, you have to sign them in and out every single day. I will be definitely checking to see that everyone has signed them in and out, okay? Trying to think of anything else. Make sure that you return them. You keep everything nice and organized. If you are in need of any kind of bobby pins or you know, whatever to like kind of, you know, put things down, you can definitely use that, okay? And that should be it for that.